Hi, this is Trey Pastor. Welcome to my review of Titans Season 2, Episode 11. This one is called Elko. Um, as we last left off with the last episode, Dick Grayson, I was going to say Nightwing, believe it or not. This review is going to have spoilers, obviously, as usual. Um, Dick Grayson was in jail. He successfully helped those two gang member or ex-gang members escape from prison where he was locked up, and of course he took a horrible beating for it and was thrown in solitary. So there's several stories happening in this episode. You have that story, the Dick Grayson story in jail, and you have Gar, because remember we left last episode where he got captured along with Superboy, and he got captured by Candace. Yeah, and Candace, discovered that he has that ability to change into animals or animal, well, actually just two animals. We only saw him ever change into a tiger and a snake. Okay, and they actually persuade Mercy Graves actually persuaded Connor to go back into his uh, tube so he can be fixed. Okay, and he agreed to do that because he after all the damage and stuff that he caused, I guess he was feeling guilty and thinks that he needs to be fixed. And Gar, believe it or not, they told him that he's free to go, and they even asked him if they wanted to stay on, if he wanted to stay on the campus, but he said no. All he wants to be is a Titan. Okay, and we last saw him looking at a TV screen watching The Wizard of Oz. Okay, and this episode picks up after that. And also, wait a minute, Rachel had run away, of course, actually from Donna in the previous episode. And in this episode, she meets her runaway, and she, kind of takes her, the runaway kind of takes her under her wing. And we also see that her evil side actually committed basically a murder behind Rachel Raven's back. Okay, so you have that story. You have Donna looking for Raven and actually, trying to call for Dick at the same time to find out what's going on because she went back to the tower and found, the mess that when Candace raided the tower and she saw the mess and Gar not being there and stuff. So naturally, this episode begins. I guess, like I said, we have a kind of a couple of multiple stories following on. We'll start with Rachel Raven. She's having a nightmare. She's literally having a nightmare about she's showing up at a funeral, and it's actually Dick Grayson's funeral. Okay, and she's slowly seeing everybody there, and she sees the headstone, and then she sees him, Dick Grayson. Then all of a sudden you see, ugh, blade right through the stomach, right or right through the back, through the stomach, comes out the front. Terminator killing, Deathstroke killing Dick Grayson. So she, she's obviously is a nightmare, and she's wakes up from that and with this renewed purpose to, try to find, find Dick Grayson, find out, where he is, and obviously that he's in danger. Okay, and then also we have Donna at the same time. She goes back and she sees, of course, the tower in a mess, complete mess, and from Candace Thug when Candace raided the tower looking for Superboy. Okay, and she's, like I said, looking for Dick. Now this episode actually we also pick up with Starfire. Starfire, we see her. She's kind of having a bad way of it now that she knows that her sister basically killed their parents and basically took over. Okay, and she had to kill her bodyguard uh, ex-boyfriend, and so she's in a bad way, and she's getting hammered and getting drunk, and even picking up a stranger just to have mindless sex with at the same time. Okay, and we also see Gar. He's at Candace, and we thought, remember at the last episode he was watching Wizard of Oz, and we thought, okay, they were going to let him go, and I thought that they were going to plant a bug in him and just let him go, so they could, I guess, maybe monitor the Titans. But they actually were doing something even more insidious. They were operating. This episode, we see them operating on his brain, and where he's like fully conscious, and they're basically working on his brain to, I guess, hardwire. And we find out later that they actually get him to be stimulated by command. And when he hears a certain music, he freaks out and turns into a tiger. They actually put him in a simulation where they have one of the Candace scientists in the room, and to him it's looking like it's Rachel, and he's explaining, what's going on, what happened in the tower and stuff to her, and then they cue the music, and he freaks out completely and turns into a tiger and literally rips the Candace scientists apart. And of course, Mercy Graves is standing by watching this and not helping, even though the scientist is begging for help. Okay, so Sorry about that interruption. Yeah, so Gar literally, on command, rips this scientist apart and literally, kills her. You see the blood in it, and really graphic. And so we see that Canvas is basically training. I don't know. They're training him to be a weapon, and they know that with his ability to change into animals, well, just two animals so far, but they're probably using that storyline will probably pick up again next season because I can't see that playing out the Canvas thing. And there's only 2 episodes remaining, so I think that thread's going to be picked up next season with Gara being, maybe they're even test him and use him to, you know, as an assassin, a secret assassin, just play that music and then have him completely freak out and kill whoever he's in the room with. Okay, so which is kind of scary, but I think that thread will be picked up in next episode. In this episode, we have basically the Titans coming together in a way. Okay, we find, like I said, Raven's having the dreams, and she's having this dream that she has to go to this certain place to see El Chogo, right? I think the name of the diner, to see. That's what she's having the visions of, and so she takes all the money that she has and buys a buys a bus ticket to head there. And we see Dawn. She's actually driving, and you see her with a box full of basically memory. It says "Hang On" and has a bunch of stuff in it, and she's driving along the highway, and she basically gets ready to dump all the memories and stuff, and kind of wash her memory away of Hank, who we see split from her. And then she dumps it, but then she thinks about it long enough, and then she comes back and grabs it. And then while she's driving, she hears on the radio, buy these, go to this restaurant and buy the best. They have the best donuts in town, the best donuts in town. And she hears at the same place that that Raven heard, saw in her vision. Okay, and then Corey, like I said, she's in a bad way because her sister basically killed her parents, and she's he picks up a stranger, and she's getting ready to have mindless sex, and she's drinking. And then she thinks better of it because this actually the person that she picks up is a psychiatrist, believe it or not, and he kind of is questioning her and making her think about what she's doing and stuff. And then she kind of catches herself and kind of kicks him out. And then on the TV screen in the hotel, I'm assuming she's staying, she gets a message that says this advertisement: go to this diner, these big donuts, the best donuts in town, the best the best donuts in the world. Okay, which is a weird random message to play. But that lights a spark in her, and off she heads to that. Okay, and Donna gets a phone call, and it's like a staticky phone call where she hears Rachel's voice saying, I need you, I need you," and I think they even mentioned the name of the diner. She gets it, and then of course she heads off to there, and then basically we have all 4 of these women, Corey, Raven, Donna, and Dawn show up at this restaurant. Okay, and they show up there wondering how they all got there at the same time, and they explain it to Raven says she's having visions. Corey says she saw the advertisement. Dawn said she heard it on the radio thing, and Donna's saying she got a call from Rachel, even though she doesn't remember calling her. Okay, she doesn't remember even calling her. Okay, and then we see who shows up in the flesh for I think the second time this season. Bruce Wayne, and it's actually him in person, and he actually gets them together, and he basically finds out, they can basically confer and talks about everything that's happened, and they find out, of course, everybody finds out now that Dick is in jail, that he's basically pled guilty and he's sitting in jail. Okay, and Bruce kind of gives him a lesson about family, saying listen, family is a tough thing together, but this is a ready-made family. You willingly got together. Okay, and it's time you have to save each other. Okay, before things get even worse than they are right now. He basically gives them that speech. Okay, and grabs a jelly donut, and takes off, Bruce Wayne style, which I thought was a cool moment. Okay, and then we see when they decide, okay, that we have to go get Dick, and Donna, which I was really surprised by this. Donna said that no, she has to go see if they can, find out what happened with Gar. And she goes off with Dawn, which I thought was really, because Donna is the closest to Dick, because they kind of grew up together. So I was surprised that she didn't want to go rescue Dick, but I guess she was saying in a way that Dick is where he wants to be. He's martyring himself. Okay. And that she has to worry about, Gar and take care of Gar. Okay. So off they go, and then of course Raven asks, "Are you going to?" She said, "Yeah, hell yeah, I'm going with you." and so they head off to go rescue rescue Dick. And then also I forgot there's one other story that they showed. We was wondering what ever happened to uh, Jason Todd and Slade's daughter. I forgot the character's name, the daughter, but Rose Wilson. We see that they're hanging out outside of Gotham. That's where they are, and they've been factually beating up drug dealers, and basically, Jason is trying to open up with her, and she's kind of still being kind of standoffish. And he actually, he says, "Listen, I'm going to open up to you," and he actually shows her where he used to actually crash. He said, I think he said his mother was an addict. His father died, and his mother was an addict, and basically he used to sleep in this empty, this theater and watch, the theater group perform and stuff. And then we also find out when Jason is not with Rose, that she calls her father Slade and tells him, "Listen, I'm out. I'm not involved in this anymore," which led us to believe that she was actually a plant by Slade to find out what the Titans were doing, and she's probably the one that put all those certain items in the Titans' room, like the soda that Aqualad liked in Donna's room and all that stuff, the alcohol and Dove's room, and Hawk's room, Hank's room and stuff. Just all those little things. That was probably Rose doing all that stuff. So we find out from this that she was actually working with him, but she says she's out and she's not involved in it, and she basically tosses her phone in the pool. Okay, and you see Slade Wilson squeeze the glass and crush it. Okay, now I think the most interesting story like I said, we have Raven and Corey going to rescue Dick from the prison, and while we're in prison, we find that Dick is again hallucinating Bruce, and Bruce is trying to tell him to think that he's missing something. That when you went to go see, did you think you're being a martyr again, self-punishing yourself? That because of what happened to Jericho, and and Dick is basically arguing with himself, saying that he deserves this and he doesn't, but the Bruce Wayne's part of his brain is trying to tell him to think that Jericho is, there's something wrong. There was something that was off when you went to visit. When she told you, when Jericho's mother told you to go visit them, they're both in that room, and he's not getting it, but we're getting it because it's something I'll explain later. But he's not getting it, and he's kind of delusional. He's arguing with himself and throwing things around at the fake imaginary Bruce when the guards come in, and he of course attacks the one guard, and then that brings in all the other guards who basically beat the crap out of him, and of course he has to rest, and then he wakes up again. Okay, and now he has a real conversation with his imagination that is in the form of Bruce, where he tells him, "Listen, you're missing something. Okay, something that happened. Think about it." And he thinks back to when he went to talk to him. That's talk with Slade, and you see them. Slade was doing a sign like a deaf person would do, and of course that was Jericho telling him that he needs help. Okay, that he, like a lot of people suspected, that when he died, he jumped into Slade's body, so he's basically trapped in his father's body. Okay, and he was asking Dick for help. Okay, so that's when Dick, and then there's a great sequence where Dick is angry at when he's finally figuring it out, and he's angry at himself, and he's fighting the imaginary Bruce, and he finally starts to get it, and he starts practicing a whole new fighting style and stuff, which looks really cool and stuff. And then he gets that light bulb moment in his head where he remembers seeing Slade Wilson, Terminator Deathstroke, actually sign, the actually sign language. So he knows now that Jericho is still alive. He's just trapped inside of his father. Okay, and in the meantime, we see Corey and Raven breaking into the prison to rescue Dick, and they knock the guards down and come to the door, and then they go into the cell where Dick was supposed to be, and then all you see is an empty cell and a big on a wall saying Jericho is alive. And Jericho is alive, and that's how it ends, with Dick seemingly broke out of prison to go try to rescue Jericho. I don't know how he's going to do it, since he's literally trapped in his father's body. So I don't know, unless you get a new body, I don't know how they're going to do that. Except I think maybe I'll tell you a way I think they might do it, and that's how it goes off. So they're setting up again Dick to be Nightwing. Okay, and I think next episode will probably be I don't see. I think they're gonna probably catch up to Dick before he gets to a Deathstroke, and probably come up. And they have to come up. And they have to, of course, rescue Gar from Candace, which I think is gonna happen. I don't think they're gonna have to rescue him. They may just let him go once they figure that the programming is good. They may just let him go and stuff. So they have to do that, and of course Dick has to take up his. I think the last episode is called Nightwing, so obviously he's going to take up the mantle of Nightwing in that episode. So I think the next episode will be whatever happened to Hank, whatever Hank is doing. Because remember the last time we saw him, he was asking where he can get the good stuff, so he's probably getting drugs, okay, and probably in a bad way. And now we got to find, either Donna and Dawn is probably either going to rescue Gar from Candace, or either they're going to let him go and he's going to come back to Titan's Tower, and then of course Raven and Corey have to catch up with Dick before I think he goes to slay both of them. So I think they will catch up to him and stop him, and then probably by the end, the Titans will all come together in that probably at the end of the episode, and then make a plan in episode 13 to confront Slade. And how I think they're going to get Jericho back into his body, I think they're going to have to either have maybe have Raven do it, maybe have Raven resurrect his body. I think they may have to do it that way, because that'd be kind of creepy. They have to dig up his body, but maybe since Raven has these supernatural powers, maybe she can resurrect his body and then have force him to come out of his father and into his old body, and then of course provided he can get cremated, of course, obviously, and then they'll have the final confrontation with them. And also, like I said, they also, when they get Gar, they may have to rescue Superboy as well, or get Superboy. They may, like I said, Superboy may be programmed too, reprogrammed as well, because I think we saw pictures a while back of Nightwing, Superboy, I think Ravager, Rose Wilson, and Corey, and so I think probably for the big fight when they fight Slade. So obviously they're gonna rescue Superboy, I think, and get Gar and stuff. But we'll see how it plays out. But like I said, I know a lot of people are not liking. They think it's just taking too long. Like it's 2 steps, 1 step forward, 2 steps back with flashbacks and all that stuff. But I also hope as well that they do next season, now that Dick has become Nightwing, that they actually next issue, I was gonna say next issue like a comic book, next season they'll have more episodes where they actually go out and go on missions in costume. Okay, that's what I think a lot of people are waiting for. They want them to be in costume, and I think now that Dick has become Nightwing, will become Nightwing in episode 13, they should do that going forward. Have them go out on missions in costumes and perform missions, fight teams. Because I think, and I know next year they said that one of the big bads should be Blackfire, obviously Corey's sister. So they may go into outer space, right, to go to her planet. Okay, and maybe Candace because of what happened to Gar and stuff. So, but I also want to see like maybe the Hellfire Club, maybe the Hive, have them actually go on missions and actually fight, people, dress up and go out and be in their uniforms and actually fight as a team, which I think they will do start next season. But anyway, let me know what you think of episode 11. What do you think of it? Feel free to leave comments down below. I have links to my social media in the description box, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I also have a link to my other channel, All Views and Opinions. If you check that out as well. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.